From Yolanda Hadid to Gwyneth Paltrow, the term Almond Mom has been thrown around a lot on social media in the past 6 months. So let's take 5 today together to figure out what is an Almond Mom, where did she come from, and does she deserve our empathy or our derision? The term Almond Mom, from my understanding, came from an episode of The Real Housewives with Yolanda Hadid. In this episode, we see Yolanda encouraging Gigi Hadid, who had restricted the whole day before a modelling show, to eat a handful of almonds so she didn't faint, rather than eating a full meal. But the term has really exploded in the past 6 months, with the likes of Gwyneth Paltrow touting the Almond Mom lifestyle, citing it as almost aesthetic and a glamorous way of living. So what is an Almond Mom? An Almond Mom is a woman of a certain age who's incredibly invested in diet culture and disordered eating. She's perhaps immersed in toxic wellness culture, has fat-phobic ideals, and almost certainly has an eating disorder. Many have now also turned to social media to describe growing up with an Almond Mom, telling tales of ingredients-only houses bare of any tasty or interesting snacks, being restricted themselves as children and forced into diet culture, and therefore struggling to eat intuitively themselves as adults. But how does an Almond Mom develop? Well, we need to look no further than trauma, orthorexia nervosa, and diet culture. Eating disorders are simply coping modes manifested to help us deal with unprocessed trauma. Orthorexia nervosa is a set of disordered eating symptoms categorised by looking for the perfect or healthy ideal diet. It involves restriction, putting food into categories of good and bad, evangelising and demonising foods, trying to have a clean or pure diet and staying away from processed foods, and can often involve body dysmorphia. Symptoms of orthorexia often stem from histories of childhood emotional abuse, neglect and bullying, as these are traumas which seriously skew our self-image. Often the Almond Moms we see are from the Gen X generation, and it's no secret that this generation truly struggle to access mental health care when trying to process their traumas. They did not have the frameworks that we have in place today. I work with many Gen X clients and patients who discuss having to process their traumas completely alone. This often resulting in eating disorder behaviour simply to try and cope with the negative thoughts, memories and emotions they have to deal with day to day. Gen X were absolutely bombarded with diet culture from a very early age. They had a wealth of diets in the 80s, including the cabbage soup diet, the cottage cheese diet, the Beverly Hills diet, and that doesn't even scrape the surface. In the 90s, Gen X were then harassed with the heroin chic era, the nothing tastes better than skinny era, and the era where being thin was in fact a fashion statement. To me, it's no surprise that so many of these now mothers developed orthorexia as a way of coping, and it makes me frankly sad to see so many still stuck in that cycle. Whilst this might be a reason for their disordered eating behaviours, there's no excuse for emotionally or physically neglecting your children or selling toxic diet or wellness culture to the masses. If you have actually grown up with an Almond Mom, please recognise that this experience may have been incredibly traumatic and pushed you away from intuitive eating from a very young age. It's not only okay, but it's also encouraged to reach out for support to process this chapter of your life. However, it's not your job to heal your own Almond Moms. Until these Almond Moms give themselves the permission to heal, they will remain in these toxic cycles of toxic diet and wellness cultures. And there's nothing you can do to truly stop that. It's your job to heal yourself, not them, no matter how much you love them. Only they can process their own trauma. And if you did enjoy this video, hit the like and subscribe buttons. And come over to the community tab where I hold polls on what you all want to see next. See you soon, baby.